Come on in, guys, because it's time for another episode of Outwatch, a Survivor rewatch podcast. My name is Alex. I will be your host and guide through our experience as we rewatch and react to past seasons of Survivor. Here, live in the year of our Lord 2019. We are in episode 3 of Survivor Season 6, the Amazon. And you know what that means, folks. It's time for our fantasy draft special. I am joined by 3 of my friends, and in today's special episode, we will be drafting the players remaining on the season into our fantasy tribes, and then we will be tracking how they score throughout the rest of the season. The winner will receive a wonderful prize, which is TBD. Before we get into that draft, though, let's meet the rest of our Outwatchers. How about we start off with the defending champion, the two-time defending champion,
the first ever back-to-back champion.
That's right. Adam, welcome to Outwatch.
So good to be here. Wearing my tie-dye shirt. Wish I was holding a llama.
It stares right at me every time. I literally next time I go to Indianapolis, I'm going this weekend. I'll bring it.
As long as it's on the podcast, I'm happy.
Yeah, he's here. I'll even set him right next to me. There he is.
So
perfect.
Cute.
I'm going up this weekend, so I'll bring him and we can figure out a time where I can deliver him to his rightful home.
Perfect.
There's not a lot of content from this episode because there isn't an episode we're watching this week. So I figured a good question to ask would be, if you were applying to Survivor and sending in your audition tape, what would be your strategy? What is getting on that tape to show Jeff Probst, I deserve to be on Survivor?
That is a very good question. I think I would actually try to use reverse psychology and make my audition tape how I didn't want to be on Survivor.
Yeah, I would hate this. Do not put me on this show. I would hate it.
I don't want to do it. It doesn't seem like fun to me. I don't think I'd be having any fun.
This isn't fun for me right now. I have to be honest.
You should just take that clip of Garrett Adelstein from Survivor Cagayan and just clip it straight from CBS All Access and send it in as your audition tape. I don't know if they would know what to do with that.
If you put me on the show, I'm going to be off my computer and I'll stop hacking you.
That's a move.
Idle threats, I think, get you in a lot of places.
I am genuinely impressed.
I think that's how Jeff would respond. Emily, welcome to Outwatch.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What would be on your Survivor audition tape?
I've had a couple of minutes to think about this, and so far I've just collected a random assortment of facts that I might share. So those include the things that have popped into my head. 1, I ran the mini marathon last year, and my race photo is me on the Indy 500 track holding my side because I had a terrible side stitch with just the worst face. I would show that. That's perseverance. Some other facts about me. I am very good at crossword puzzles. And word searches especially. I'm okay at crosswords. I'm very good at word searches. I'm very good at pogo stick. I knit a little bit. I'm that person who will call their doctor friends and ask for help, which is what I did to Scott today.
Hello.
And also, Adam and I tried to move a heavy wardrobe into our house, and I ended up putting it on the ground and crying a little bit. So those are just some things about me. I think
I'm
that
ready
would
to
give
cast
a real,
it.
yeah, I think that'd give a real understanding of like the kind of player I'd be. Yeah.
Now I know how Jesus felt.
For today's challenge, each of you will pogo stick on a pogo, while in front of you is an elaborate word search puzzle. First person to stay on their pogo stick and find all 7 words wins immunity.
See, there's the physical and the mental.
I'd love to see Jeff like describe a challenge, but like there's a pogo stick in front of you and you're 8 feet off the ground.
But it's
and
made
there's
of like bamboo.
There's a small platform and you have to be pogoing on this small platform 8 feet off the ground. And if you fall off, you're out of the game probably because you're dead.
Wow, this got really extreme.
It's happening
Survivor.
right now.
It's happening right now.
Oh, Scott, welcome to Outwatch.
Hey, how's it going?
Wonderful. Hey, what would be on your Survivor audition tape?
So it's hard to follow up Emily's. I don't know. I guess I would have to figure out what the theme was and try to fit that theme.
Ooh, see, that's
Also,
the tough part. You don't know what they're looking for.
Okay, well, I guess I'd have to go super outdoorsy with it. I'm talking Patagonia label in the background.
Yeah.
I'm talking maybe drive a Subaru Outback, mention that, even though I don't.
I mean, probably a 2003 GMC
Envoy.
Encore. I couldn't remember what the
Envoy.
Envoy. Yeah.
Exactly. Mention how much I love Outback Steakhouse.
Yes.
All of that stuff, and then have a bandana on. I think I'd get on the show.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Those are all great options. I would definitely cast all of you guys if it were up to me. I actually just sent in an audition tape again because they're
Again?
doing another round. Yeah, they're casting for
Tell us more.
41 and 42 right now.
Oh my God. If you got on Survivor, I'd die. It'd be amazing.
I would too, but like actually,
Yeah.
I would
But
actually
this
die out
podcast
there.
would blow up.
Man, it probably would. That's our ticket, guys.
Yeah.
It'd be Alex has a podcast
Alex has a podcast, and it's called Outwatch.
Outwatch.
featuring 3 other people.
So as we said, today is our draft special. We have tweaked the rules to the Fantasy Survivor game we're playing a little bit this season for simplicity's sake, to make it a little bit smoother. And I've added an extra twist as far as the operations go, which I will let you in on very shortly. First, I'll kind of explain how the draft is going to go. I'll give you the rundown of scoring, and then I'll explain our new twist. If you've ever been in a fantasy sports league before, you will understand the way that this draft works. We've got everybody left in the season in a pool. They're all swimming around out there. It's a wonderful pool. It's an infinity pool, actually. And one at a time, our contestants will choose a selection, and we're doing a snake-style draft, meaning that whoever goes first, we'll pick, then the second person, and then the third person will pick twice, and then it'll snake back around. The second person goes again, and then the first person twice, so on and so forth. There are 14 people left in the game right now, which means we will have 3 tribes of 4, a la Pearl Islands. With the added twist I will mention here momentarily. As far as scoring goes this year, we've made some adjustments, so keep this in mind as you make your choices. I don't think it'll actually make things weighted much differently, but it clears some things up and makes it easier to calculate, I think. Shouts to InsideSurvivor.com for the point distribution. The Dream Tribe game that they play, I borrowed heavily from their points. So if you're a Survivor fan and are watching the current season, you can go play their Dream Tribe game and you can win some cash as well. So the way that the scoring is going to go this time, one of the big changes I made from their system to ours is one of the things I love about our system is that it's not just like points for winner, points for second place, whatever. It's like points for votes at the final tribal. So it like weighs how badly you win, I guess. So here's the rundown of the points. You'll get 10 points for every vote your player receives at final tribal. You'll get 15 points for making the merge. You'll get 15 points for acquiring an idol or an advantage. That doesn't mean playing, it means acquiring. You'll get 10 points for surviving tribal council. You'll get 10 points for winning an immunity or a reward, and then you'll get 5 points for naming an episode. This doesn't really change a whole lot as far as what we are rewarding, but it just kind of changes the point values and makes it easier the language as far as like surviving tribal and all that. Does all that make sense to y'all, the contestants of this season? Any questions about that?
I don't think so. Are there idols in this season?
There are not. So that one's not super relevant this season. But in subsequent seasons, it would be if you find one, if you win one, if you acquire one.
All right.
Super. And then the added twist that I'm adding to this season, and I think I'll probably do this going forward as long as it makes sense as far as like the breakdown of participants in the season. I'm going to add a waiver wire in. Again, if you are familiar with fantasy sports, this is basically the players who are not currently owned on a team end up in the waiver wire. And you can, in between weeks, in, like a fantasy football or whatever, swap out somebody on your existing team with somebody on the waiver wire if you think that they are going to do better for you than the people you have. So, since there are 14 players left in the game and only 12 are going to get drafted, the 2 undrafted players will go on the waiver wire. And at the end of every 2 episodes of Survivor, I'll give you guys a chance to use the waiver wire, and if you feel so inclined, effectively trade someone from your tribe off of your tribe onto the waiver wire. And then you'll start getting points that they earn from that point forward. Of course, you won't get the points that they have earned on past episodes when they weren't on your tribe. You'll only get them going forward. And one of the biggest rules for this is that you can only trade like active players for active players, right? So if you have somebody voted off from your tribe, like first thing, you can't trade now your empty spot for an active player, right? So if you've drafted well and if you're playing the waiver wire well, the waiver wire will only be active for a few rounds, because then it'll be hopefully just full of players that have been voted out. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The way that we'll do that is we'll go in order from last place and points to first. We'll have the first chance to make a waiver move. If they don't want to make one, it'll move to the next person, so on and so forth. Before we begin the draft, let's do the traditional. I'd love to hear y'all's strategies going into this draft, using what you have learned in previous seasons to your advantage. You guys are veterans at Fantasy Survivor at this point. Scott, what's your strategy going into this draft?
Well, in past seasons, besides the last season, so I guess in the season I actually got to draft, because last season I was just randomly generated a team.
Jesus.
Rest in peace. Actually, he lives forever. Okay. Season one, my goal. In the first season, my goal was just to not get last. So I think that wound up getting me very close to getting third. So I think I'm going to go for the win this time. And I'm going to try to pick people who I think have a really good chance at hopefully winning.
Going for all the marbles.
Yeah, a bold strategy. Pick the players that you think will go far. I know.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it is risky, though, because a lot of times the biggest players are the ones who win, but they're also ones that get voted out pretty early because they're bigness.
Yep.
Emily, what are you looking to improve upon and relay into your strategy this season?
I feel like I always try and calculate it, and I try and get a mix of people, a mix of tribes. I try and get some of like the more physically strong players, some of the people who are looking smarter and more strategic. And that's never worked out for me. So I think I'm just going to be a little more loosey-goosey and just kind of see what happens.
Loosey-goosey.
RNGesus it a bit.
RNGesus it a bit.
And Adam, you, of course, are our 2-time defending champion. What has worked for you in the past, and what do you expect to carry over in this iteration of the game?
I'm just here so I don't get fined. So
is that a Marshawn Lynch?
It's a Marshawn Lynch reference. I'm going for social players, I think is my strategy here.
Okay.
I'll just throw that out there. Like, I don't remember what my strategy was for Cagayan or Pearl Islands, but it feels like what's required of this season is someone who's going to be strong socially. I think they'll make it far. So,
all right, calling a shot with the social threats. All right, anything else before we begin this draft?
I think we're good.
All right, this draft will begin at the sound of the llama. And with that sound, we are on the clock. As far as the draft order goes, I'm going to do what we did last time and do it in reverse order from last season standings. So that means, Emily, you have the honor of the first pick in the draft. Who will you give the honor of making your first selection?
Well, Rob does have a podcast.
He does have a podcast. It's right there in the name.
Important. I think I'm going to go with Rob.
Rob Sesternino, first off of the board, going to Tribe. Emily, the to be named later Tribe. Adam, what do you think about that first overall pick?
I think it's a solid pick. I mean, Rob does have a podcast. I can't argue with that.
Is there anything from the gameplay thus far, Emily, that you see in Rob as somebody that you wanted on your tribe?
A little off-putting with some of the comments that he's made, but he does seem to have a feel for the game. Despite that, when you look past those things, he seems to be like a keen player who knows how to get along with people. So hopefully that will serve him well.
Stealing my social strategy, I see.
Listen, you let us know.
One of the things that, Rob Sesternino himself says oftentimes in his Survivor analysis is that in returning player seasons, the players that are returning often emulate the winner of that season and perform in the way that they saw that other person perform and win. So, Emily, maybe you, in picking Rob, are emulating the winner of our past seasons of Adam and going for this type of player.
That's very possible.
This draft feels so much more stressful to me all of a sudden.
You've got a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. And of course, our viewers or our listeners will note that these teams our tribes are unnamed at this point. And as usual, they will be named organically as this draft takes place. Because sometimes, the name just happens. And if not, we'll come up with a name by the end of the episode. And, those names can change as the season progresses. Why not?
Why not?
Adam. It's actually not your time.
I was going to say,
pick.
that doesn't sound right.
It's Scott's, but I'm going to add a new tradition in here where I just play a clip, and that means that you're on the clock. So, Scott. You have the second pick. You are on the clock.
Okay. So, not going to lie, the only person who I really knew was Rob. So, that sucks.
All right.
Sorry.
Number one pick on many big boards.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper's all about him.
So if this was like a real life thing, I would be trading back for more picks, but we're not going to do that. Okay. I will take Alex.
Alex is the second pick off the board, going to Tribe Scott. Alex, of course, the triathlete who is sensitive to the plight of the gay Americans of the world.
Yeah.
Good dude, it seems. Strong in challenges so far. Not a jerk.
And that's exactly why I picked him.
Those are good things. Anything else you'd like to add, Scott, as far as why you went in Alex's direction?
So I'm looking at this picture of all the pictures, and for some reason, I remembered his face the most. So
all right.
There we go.
Fair enough.
I'm feeling great about this.
Scott, Adam, sorry, you're up next. Was Alex on your radar for your pick?
He was on my radar. He wasn't on my radar for my first pick. Actually, no one picked who I wanted first, so we're solid there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
It's all good in the neighborhood. It's all gravy, baby.
it's all gravy, baby. And Adam, you are on the clock with pick number 3.
I will be taking Heidi.
Heidi.
From Jabaroo. That is correct.
All right. The first female player goes off the board to Adam with gym teacher Heidi. Why was she your first pick, Adam?
Seems like she's got a strong social game. She's an athlete. It's partially because of her they even won that first challenge.
She really showed out in that first challenge.
Feel good about her as a player.
Emily, what do you think about this pick?
I guess if you're going for social game, it makes sense.
Ooh, some shade, perhaps.
That was said like in a really salty way, but I did not mean it that way at all. She's a very good player. She's like very physically strong, and she's also got a good social game. I think.
Yeah, she had a really good challenge in that one episode.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was throwing shade, but it wasn't on purpose.
50% of the episodes we've seen, she's had a really good challenge.
That's
That's
one
part
episode.
I think it's fun to pick this early on in a season, and that you have very little to go off of. Like, it adds some, I don't know, some like randomness and like some funniness as you go on. It's like, why the heck did we pick Dara second or whatever? All right. Well, because of our snake draft, Adam, you've got another selection here.
I didn't know they made such an animal.
And you're back on the clock. Who will you pick with pick number 4?
I think I'm going to go with Matthew.
Matthew coming off the board for Adam's tribe. Matthew is the long-haired fella. Muscular guy. I actually don't remember his profession. Do you?
No.
No, it was in your little article though. You pulled up.
We don't have that up anymore though.
I know.
Because spoilers, beware the spoilers. Why'd you go with Matthew here, Adam?
Well, I wanted to go someone off the guys' tribe, and Daniel and Dave are a little bit reckless. Rob's already gone. Roger is definitely a pretty reckless social player, and I just have this feeling that Butch is going to get squeezed out early on. So that leaves me with Matthew.
All right. Matthew is a restaurant designer.
Oh, yeah.
He's a regular, what's that? Robert Irvine. The original Restaurant Impossible.
Oh, gee.
Scott, what do you think about this pick with Matthew?
He was on my radar, much for like the similar reason that Adam said. Like, he kind of seems like he's like we haven't seen that much of him yet.
Yep.
Like the other players on the men's tribe seem slightly controversial in their own way. So, so I like the pick.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Who did Matthew vote with in that first episode? I think he was on the wrong side of the votes, if I remember correctly. Let me do some research.
I think he
fast.
was, but I just don't take much stock in that at this point.
Yeah, episode 1.
I don't feel like it matters. It's like these early seasons.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew was on the wrong side of the vote there. He voted for Roger. But you're right. Episode 1, lots of games still to be played. All right. That means, Scott, it's your turn to pick. Who are you going with?
I'm ready to cry.
You're on the
I
clock.
am ready to cry from all the pressure. I am gonna go with, because like I just said, all the remaining men's players seem to have some form of baggage. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Dina.
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 Dina has taken control in a lot of ways of the women's camp thus far, taken a big role in the shelter building, been pretty vocal at tribal council as well. One of the strong story builders thus far of things on the women's tribe. Why was that your pick, Scott?
Much for what you said, she's kind of staken her claim as kind of the leader of the women's tribe thus far. They have had some success. So I'm hoping that means that she can somehow propel herself forward in the game.
All right. Emily, what'd you think about the choice to pick Dina here with you coming up next?
Yeah, I was considering taking Dina because she has proven herself to be a leader. So I think that makes sense.
Fair enough.
It just creates a different decision for me.
Adam, anything to add to this pick of Dina here with our 5th pick in the draft?
I really like Dina as a pick. I definitely would have taken her if she had been up my next time around. So that's a little unfortunate, but she's also pushing herself out as a leader, and we don't know how that's gonna rub anybody else in the tribe. So
yeah, sometimes works great, and other times it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with that, we're back to Emily taking your 2nd pick.
In a sexual way.
So good. So good.
You are on the clock. Sandra,
is
freaking
it
queen.
Jeannie? Or
No, it's Jean.
Jean.
That's my pick.
Jean coming off of the board here at pick number 6 to Tribe Emily. Why did we go with Jean, Emily?
She also seems to be standing out as one of the leaders. She's also in marketing, which I appreciate. Seems respectable.
All right.
That's
yeah. I think the most that we saw from Jean so far was like her kind of getting thrown under the bus as the one to out Janet as the granola bar taker, right? Wasn't that her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But guess what? Janet's gone.
She's gone.
Jean is there.
It was that. We've also seen her be the one who's kept Christy up to date about what's happening at night.
Yeah.
And I think that's
true.
A really strong argument for her as a social player.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah. Scott, do you have a thought on the pick of Jean at this point?
Yeah, I think that thus far, like they've said, she's definitely showing herself as a potentially great social player. And like we've maybe talked about as well, social players might be the good play here in this season. So yeah, I like it.
All right, let's do a quick reset here as we are halfway through the draft. Adam, on your tribe to this point, you've got Heidi and Matthew. Emily is rolling with Rob and Jean. And Scott is rolling with Alex and Dina. 6 are off the board, and we've got 8 remaining. Those are Butch, Christy, Daniel, Dave, Jenna, Joanna, Roger, and Shauna, meaning that 2 will be the first to inhabit the waiver wire. Emily, you have the floor again. You are on the clock.
Talk about getting some honey or smoking something, drinking something.
These are great, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm actually going to go with Christy.
Christy, coming off the board. A risky pick here, Emily. What is your thought with Christy?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was talking to my sister today on the phone, and she was asking about our Survivor podcast.
Yeah.
And like, which one are you watching? I said Amazon. And granted, like when I watched this when I was little, I watched it with her. So I was like, she's like, I don't remember that one. And I said, it's the one with the deaf woman. That's like, when I saw that scene, that's when I remembered this season. And she's like, oh yeah, I think she goes pretty far. So I'm just going to take my sister's advice and take her.
Well, let's hope that your advice from her was good.
Yes, we will find out. No pressure.
Otherwise, we can blame it on her.
Yes.
Scott, what do you think about the pick of Christy here?
I think it's kind of risky. I think that she does seem to, I think she knows the Survivor game, but like with her, disability or, her being deaf, it is going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, uncharted waters for us as Survivor viewers. We don't know yet if this will be a good thing or not. And that's why you watch the show. All right, Scott, it's back to you for pick number 8 now.
All right. I'm going to pick Jenna. Cool.
Jenna off the board. Just wanted to make sure you guys heard that.
Cool.
All right, Scott, you've chosen Jenna. Why is that?
Mostly because I don't know that much about her, and what we've seen of these other people, I know that I don't want to be.
So the process of elimination has led you to Jenna here.
Yes.
We did see a lot of Jenna in that first episode. She had a bunch of confessionals.
She did have that strategy where she was going to maybe use her physical attributes to sway the men, right?
Yes.
But she was
did
the one
mention
who
that.
couldn't untie the boat too, right?
That was Shauna.
Oh, that was Shauna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrong hot girl in the eyes of the men's tribe.
All right.
How could you?
I only have eyes for Dina and Gina, apparently.
The true queens. Emily, what do you think about that pick of Jenna here?
You know, I think Scott's logic is very sound. I respect his decision.
Everyone else here is pretty problematic, so it's not true. There's maybe some diamonds in the rough here.
Sometimes it's the choice you don't make. Probably I'm leaving the winner out there, so who knows?
That actually makes me wonder, I think the winner of both seasons last time, actually not true, because Scott had Tony last time and still didn't win. But Adam, you did have Sandra last time.
Season 1, I had Sandra.
Yeah. So 50% of the time so far, the winner has been on the Ultimate Winners team.
50%.
Well, yeah, the thing that really screwed over RNG's was that they lost everybody so early.
Mm-hmm.
Because they even, like, Tony was the winner and he had all the idols and everything. I think, like, in a normal season, like, what are the odds that they pick 2 people who go out within a few episodes of the draft?
Sure.
Yeah. It is really hard to win our previous seasons without having the winner.
Mm-hmm. They were 5-person tribes last season too, so I feel like that gives you more flexibility to not have those players that go super deep or like at least that win and still win.
Yeah,
but I think it's different with 4-person tribes.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, it is back to you. Let's find one we haven't used. You're on the clock.
Love Rupert. Can I pick Rupert?
He would get you no points this season. This is
I think it's a moral
pre-Rupert.
victory, though.
This is before Rupert was ever on Survivor. Crazy, right?
Man, a couple of tough choices here. You know, I like Butch's attitude, so I'm gonna go for Butch. I almost said Bush.
No, you did, though.
I was so subtle about it. It was the static.
Right.
Dude, if you had said that on Survivor the Amazon, that totally would have turned into a raunchy joke that made air.
Survivor Amazon.
So other than the general liking of his attitude, why are you going with Butch here?
He's got a good attitude. He seems relatively competitive. If he's not a very strong competitor, I think that he could kind of fly under the radar for a while. He's probably like a safe person to be like friends with, you know, like, I don't know. I could see him having a really strong social game and just kind of like floating through for a really long time.
Believe in yourself.
Exactly.
Believe in yourself.
Okay. Scott, what do you think about the Butch pick?
I like it. I think that Butch has got a good attitude. I think he's going to potentially just kind of ride through this thing, at least to the merge, just off of being a good guy and being a leader.
All right. And that means we are down to the final round of picks here. We've got 3 left. 5 choices, of course, but 3 picks left in the canister. Adam, you are back again.
You know what? I can get loud too. What the?
You're on the clock, Adam.
I think for my last pick, I gotta go with Shauna.
Shauna. Rounding out Adam's tribe. Early entrant into what your tribe name should be. I'm gonna just throw out tribe Believe in Yourself.
No, I want to be Ancient Aliens.
Why?
I just listened to a conspiracy theories podcast about how ancient aliens helped the people draw these lines in the sand somewhere north of the Amazon. It was wonderful.
Whoa.
This isn't fun.
Yes, there. I was like, please give us a soundbite.
Can it? Okay. All right.
I'll be believing yourself. That's fine. I'm happy with that.
Ancient aliens it is. I would hate
to
to
believe in aliens. Can we believe in aliens?
That's a good compromise.
Adam totally stormed Area 51.
I put believe in yourself and aliens.
And aliens. I love this.
Why'd you pick Shauna?
I think she was pretty unanimously voted as the hottest girl in the other tribe.
Not worth nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, which I don't feel good about that being the reason why I'm picking her. But I think she's someone who will have a pretty strong social capital if she can make it to the merger. She seems like she's a strong competitor, but could be underestimated. So like people won't want to get rid of her very quickly. I don't know. She's kind of a dark horse for my tribe, I guess. Like that's just how I feel about it.
Are you ready for?
Yeah, that's been in my head since we said that.
Yeah. By the way, if you get a chance to go see a Katy Perry concert, do it. It is
amazing,
wonderful experience.
Cool. Okay, Emily, what do you think about the Shauna pick? Was she in your scopes with your?
Yeah, she
pick?
seemed. Since I've been watching, she has seemed pretty solid. She seems like she's dedicated, pretty good social player. So yeah, she was one I was considering myself.
All right, we're down to the second to last pick. This falls on Scott. Time to round out your tribe. Who would you like to select?
I probably pooped on myself.
That was in round 1. I'll go with Dave.
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 Scott picks Dave. Why have you picked Dave?
You can't not say his name like that.
It's just like anybody who's named Dave. I feel like you got to be like Dave.
Dave. Dave was the guy who was like, "Yo, guys, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't lie about that. Like, whatever." Yeah. So maybe he's like a stand-up guy, or seems like a good guy. Maybe at least he's like willing to admit when they're not doing so swell. So
sure.
Maybe that says something. Maybe so. We'll go with it.
All right. Emily, thoughts on the Dave pick? Was he going to be your last pick?
No, he wasn't, but I understand choosing him.
Yeah.
I didn't really remember that he was the upright moral man. So
he was also the one that said bangarang.
Yes.
Ooh, team name.
Bangarang, tribe bangarang. I love it.
Bangarang.
And just like that, we are down to the final pick in the draft.
Boom, Sonic the Hedgehog style.
Yes.
Emily, who would you like to make Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant in this draft?
I'm going to go with Roger.
Roger!
Yeah. I was thinking more of like the Star Wars droid. Roger.
The freaking battle droids.
Yeah.
Roger. Roger! All right, Roger's off the board. Emily, why did you go in the direction of Roger?
Process of elimination.
Okay.
I don't trust Daniel, and Joanna seems nice until she's not. And she just seems a little questionable at this point.
Yeah. She does not like those idols. Does not like them.
No, she doesn't.
Who does? I mean,
yeah. Adam, what do you think about rounding out the draft with Roger?
I think it makes sense. I don't know. If I had to guess, I was going to guess that Joanna and Roger were the last two in our waiver wire. But I I don't feel like Daniel is a safer pick by any means.
I haven't seen much of Daniel, but all I can think is that he's just a follower. So like the guys are like, "Oh, we're cool," and he's like, "Yeah, we're talking about stuff."
Yeah, I want to hear your
balance beam.
Yeah.
I want to hear your guys' reasoning for leaving Daniel off the tribe. Like, yeah, he had a rough couple episodes at the beginning, but like, I think traditionally, young athletic guy, not the kind of guy that gets left on the board in these sort of things. Why was he so detestable?
Like half of the men's tribe doesn't seem to like him. He doesn't seem to like do anything unless directly told. He's not like a very like strong, like I'm going to go and do this because I see it needs done type of person.
Yeah.
And I don't think that bodes well in a game that probably relies so heavily on the social game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Roger is such a strong force and leader that I don't think he's necessarily a safer pick by that regard. I don't know. Like we're 2 episodes in. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's just interesting to me that, he's not had a great look so far, but I don't know. I thought one of you would take a chance on him.
Take a chance.
Maybe some upside there. Well, let's hope that you were able to tap into the mystical powers of the island to channel them into putting together a well-balanced tribe.
There are spirits in this jungle, and through the magic of the magic 8-ball, I can channel and harness those spirits.
I hope that you were able to channel and harvest those spirits tonight.
Emily, what's your tribe name?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I was inspired because I know that there are lots of interesting animals in the Amazon. Then you played that fun clip from Rupert that was, I didn't know they made such an animal. And I
didn't know they made such an animal.
Exactly. So I've looked up a list of unusual rainforest animals.
Yes.
And I have found.
You want to be the sprickets?
No. I want to be the poison dart frogs.
Sprickets. That just brings back a lot of sense memory about the spricket issue in 1702.
I'm going to tell you that while we were talking, there was a spricket that just jumped on the scene in this room. And I was answering a question while trying not to throw up on this table.
Good job. Sprickets have a long history with you.
If our listeners don't know what sprickets are, I would not encourage you to look them up. They're also called cave crickets, and they're basically crickets that look like spiders. Yeah, so they're like jumping spiders.
Ooh,
but they're completely harmless.
Except they jump at you,
and they don't make noise.
And they give you nightmares, which is a thing that has happened to me.
I'm going to go into us evaluating our tribes here, but before we do that, I have a question that I was thinking about while we were recording. Do we think that it would be good to allow trades?
I think it'd be okay if the 2 people agree. Then I mean, why not?
I think maybe the way that we'll do all like transactions is we can say at the end of every other podcast, we can make waiver wire additions and we can make trades.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Sounds good.
Cool. Adding trades into the Survivor Fantasy repertoire as well. So I will act as your league commissioner, and I have the rights to veto trades. We'll just say they can only be 1-for-1 trades. Or I guess you could do 2-for-2. Also, you just can't do like 1 player for 2 or whatever.
Right.
All right. So here is our recap of the tribes as they stand. Adam, with tribe Believe in Yourself and Aliens, you've got Heidi, Matthew, Butch, and Shauna. Emily with the Poison Dart Frog tribe. We've got Rob, Gene, Christy, and Roger. And Scott with Tribe Bangarang. We've got Alex, Dina, Jenna, and Dave. And that leaves sitting in the waiver wire Daniel and Joanna. We talked about Daniel not making it on a tribe, but what was ultimately the biggest reason that Joanna wasn't worth picking up from any of you? Scott, why did you leave Joanna out there on the bench?
Mostly because of her little fight with Christy in the second episode. I think that she seems nice, but yeah, that kind of explosive like fight early on, I don't feel like that bodes well So I didn't want that on my team.
All right. Really valuing the social play this season.
It's because Adam said it.
I know.
It's a copycat league, Alex. It's a copycat league.
That's right.
Can we have what are they called? The leagues where you hang on to players?
Keeper leagues.
Keeper league. Yeah, can we play keeper leagues from
actually,
now on?
you know what would kind of be fun is if we actually, when we get to returning player seasons, if we set it up such that we've watched every season with players on the returning player season, we could do it where it's like if you had them in their first time out, maybe you get to keep them for their second time out or something.
Like you can pick one person.
Yeah.
Just so that way.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun to do.
I think that would be fun.
You know, that could be fun.
This isn't fun for me. I have to be honest.
Yes, it is. It is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
That is the best soundbite for someone who lasted exactly 2 episodes.
Yeah.
1 episode, 2 episodes.
Yep, it was 2. He got that in though. All right, let's go through just have you guys evaluate your tribes and what you're thinking going into this season. Emily, what do you think about the Poison Dart Frog tribe made up of Rob, Gene, Christy, and Roger?
I have tried to get well, you know what? I didn't have a plan this time, that's what I said, but I have ended up with a good mix, I think.
Yeah.
I've got 2 men and 2 women. I've got Rob, who is the hot choice, apparently. So I feel good about that. I'll be interested to see what happens.
All right. Do you feel confident going into this?
I never do. I need more information.
And that you will receive.
Yes.
As this season progresses. Scott, what do you think about Tribe Bangarang, made up of Alex, Dina, Jenna, and Dave?
I like it. I think like everybody else, I was trying to go for some variety. I got 2 men and 2 women. I felt really good about that. I think that we've got a mixture of people that are off to a good start, that have been focused or featured early on, and then also some dark horse people. So as Emily said, I don't feel super confident, but I don't know that I should yet. So we'll see.
And Adam, do you think this is the tribe, the Believe in Yourself and Aliens tribe, made up of Heidi, Matthew, Butch, and Shauna, that will lead you to a 3rd consecutive championship?
I feel confident that one of these 4 people wins the whole thing.
Ooh, calling your shot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Heidi is my choice as the winner of this season. I think she's going to crush it. And if not, I think I got 3 people who are really good backup options.
Wow. Always the confident one.
You gotta be. Also, so Emily and Scott both went guy, girl, guy, and I went girl, guy, girl. So that's gonna make all the difference.
Sure.
Got the creme de la creme of the female players.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Next season, I'm going guy, girl, guy. Or girl, guy, girl, or whatever.
As you emulate the winner of your season, theoretically.
Yeah.
I got to say, guys, this going, obviously, I don't know how like all the points are going to work out, but this is, I think, by far the most balanced that these tribes have been this draft. I really don't know who's going to win. And I got to be honest, coming into the last 2 times, I was pretty sure right from the get-go that Adam's tribe was going to win. But this one, like, I honestly think it could go any of 3 ways. It seems to be pretty balanced. There's strong performers and some weak performers all across the board. I think this is a well done draft, guys.
Okay.
All right.
I don't feel good about that now.
I'm saying it. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close between all 3.
All right.
I think that we will leave the trades and the waiver wires on the board here until 2 episodes from now. It'll be your first chance to dabble in those actions. Sound good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Any closing remarks from anyone before we wrap things up here?
I feel good.
Can't wait to keep watching.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
So freaking excited.
You know what? I can get loud too. What the
All right. Thank you for listening to Outwatch, a Survivor rewatch podcast. Next time on Outwatch, we will be recapping and rewatching episode 3 of Survivor the Amazon, titled Girl Power. Perhaps a little bit of a tease of things to come. Thank you for listening. Make sure that you subscribe. Give us those 5-star ratings. That really helps us a lot. And I don't actually know how or why, but that's what other podcasts say, so I will say it too.
Robots.
And be sure to send in your feedback and your answers to our opening questions to our Twitter at Outwatch Podcast to be featured in upcoming episodes. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.